reading comprehension and analytical thinking skills, which is certainly an important skill. So, we said we'd do a collaborative lesson, so I want to kind of, let's walk through the parts that we're going to play in this lesson.
Okay.
All right? And then you can share with me what you're thinking about. Well, let's start there. So what are you thinking about? What part would you like to play in this?
So I would like to start the lesson with the do now,
Okay.
which I thought would be good if we asked how many different kinds of questions are there, and what are they, or what are they called? Having the students try to think about, are there different kinds?
That's very, why, I'm intrigued. Why would you start with that?
I would start with that because usually they tell me with my do now questions, they're either easy or hard. They either can answer them very quickly, or they tell me, this is hard, I don't know how to do it.
Okay. So
I want them to think more about that. Are there only easy and hard questions, or are there different kinds?
And when you think about it, when do we ever ask students about what they think about questions? It's either a question or it's not a question.
Right.
Okay, so it's sort of like a KWL.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming in, finding out what do they already know about questions.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I kind of have to. I like your approach with that, and that would kind of lead us right into the part when we would be introducing the strategy. So where would you like to go from there?
From there, I was thinking that perhaps you could model the strategy and have the students do a little bit of guided practice.
Okay.
And then I was thinking that I could have them read a different passage independently, work with a partner to make up their own questions and answers for that passage, and then we would go over how they did with that.
That works for me, because you're thinking. That sounds like you're using the gradual release. Remember we looked at that?
Yes.
It's like how I'm working with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, so in the beginning, introducing the strategy, I do, they watch, or we do,
Mm-hmm.
and they watch, since this is a collaborative lesson.
Yes.
And we could do that. And I have that step, and what I was thinking I could do is I would introduce it with 4 cards. Each student would have a card indicating the different types of strategies. I would present the first passage, and they're very short because it's sort of a mini lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want it to go too long, so then we can move into the next phase. A little passage here about spiders, and then I would actually show them what these types of questions look like. So what does a right there question look like? I would then use maybe a transparency, highlight it, see it's right there, show them where the answer is. Then we would move into the think and search question. And all the while what I'm doing is, while I'm doing this, is I'll be doing a lot of think alouds.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would bring us to the next phase of the continuum, gradual release, where they would be doing some kind of guided practice. Okay? So, are you comfortable with me introducing it and then doing the guided practice piece?
Yes.
And then I'll turn over the independent activity?
Mm-hmm.
Because then we could use either a passage that you want to use from their science reading that they're doing now, so that we can see how they're transferring that skill.
I was thinking either the science reading that we would be doing, which would be on the planets, or that seabirds passage that was in the other QAR packet that we talked about.
And we can decide on that before we leave today for the next step, before we actually formally write it up.
Yeah.
So.
And then I thought homework, we could have them make one question of each type about the planet unit that we'll be doing next.
Having them make up their own questions.
Yeah. And then I was going to tell them that I would actually use them on a quiz or a test that would be coming up.
Here you keep intriguing me. You know I'm going to ask you, why do you think it's important that they make their own questions?
I think it's important because I think that their belief is making up testing quizzes is very simple, and that teachers try to trick them with questions all the time, and then it's not something that they've learned. So if they make up their own questions, not only are they reinforcing the types of questions that they've learned, but they're also seeing that it's not as easy as they think, and you may not make something sound confusing on purpose.
Okay, excellent. Assessments. Have you thought about how would we know the kids are getting what we're showing them? How will we know?
I think from observing, walking around while they're working on the guided practice and the independent practice, questioning, and then I would also like to collect what they work on with their partner and also their homework assignment.
Okay, they're all good forms of assessment. And I was also thinking perhaps, and we talked about maybe if we had a wipe-off board of some kind, where when I was showing them the examples of, in the passage, they were to write down, is this a right there question or a think and search, and then hold it up. And then you can take a quick scan and see maybe, oh, so-and-so got it. Who's having some difficulty with
Yeah, either the index cards or the wipe-off
index
boards
cards
would be.
work. Okay, so we could decide that
Yeah.
before we leave today. Well, this looks like we have a, is this plan sufficient for you? Does he think this is gonna work?
I do.
And you know what? We'll give it a try. We've never done this before.
Right.
We're taking a strategy from reading that's normally done in language arts, and we're moving it into science. So we are making science. This is new. I'm excited about this.
Me too.
I can't wait. So we'll write this up, and then we'll plan our next step to come back, and we'll have a formal plan, lesson plan at that time. Okay. All right, great. Thanks.